Hi, everyone, and welcome to Tap Into Your Creativity. I am so excited to be here today. It is my last interview of the year, and I am so grateful. I cannot believe it's December 26th. It's actually crazy. I have been blessed in so many ways. I want to just say to everyone, Merry Christmas and happy, healthy New Year to all of you. I can't thank you enough for all your support, for all my army of artists that have been so generous with not only with me, but with the community at large and helping so many people in need. And I'm just so incredibly grateful and blessed to have this incredible community. And today we have my great friend, CatTesla, who is going to join us any minute now. And she was actually one of my first interviews. She was actually my second interview. And I will try to get her in. There we go. At that point, I couldn't hear her. She couldn't hear me. It was the beginning. I was learning. And she was a trooper, and we ended up doing two. Hey, Kat.
Hey,
How
how
are
are
you?
you?
Oh, I'm so happy you're here today with me.
It's great to see you.
It's so great to see you. I'm so happy that you are here. And I was saying to everyone, I feel so blessed. And I just was wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy New Year to all of us. And I wanted to thank you and every single artist that has been a part of this incredible project of giving our hearts out, sharing. And I know we all have shifted and changed a little bit of, with this pandemic. And anyways, I'm just so thrilled that you're here today, because I was telling everyone that the first time around you were my second interview. Jane Kenyon was my very first one, and I didn't know what I was doing, and yet you trusted me with the process, and you trusted me with everything. And so I will bring you back and Jane back to have a second kind of interview. And I know you've been super busy, but let's start from the beginning. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Sandra. Well, I want to tell you congratulations for, building this army of artists. And gosh, you've done some amazing things this year. You've done so much good. I mean, 196,000 meals. That's,
Yes.
I mean, it gets me a little choked up to think about it. I mean, you've been really, setting, just kind of blazing a path for artists by interviewing everybody and putting everybody's work together, selling it to raise money for feeding America. I think it's just such a noble cause, and you have been our Oprah. And so I want to thank you, Sandra, for being the artist Oprah. It's really been a pleasure and a privilege, I think, for those of us who have been in your project. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, my friend. God, I don't even know what to say for that. Thank you, Kat. So, tell us a little bit about yourself for people that just don't remember exactly if they didn't see the first time around. Just tell us a little bit about where are you, what type of artist are you, and where in the world
Yeah.
are you right now?
So my name is CatTesla. I'm an Atlanta-based artist, and this is my 23rd year as an artist. I paint contemporary abstract works. I prefer to paint very large. I have a primary body of work that I call the Chrysalis Series, which is an abstraction of nature. And in that series, I'm really trying to create how it feels to be in nature. So it's not necessarily a literal representation of nature. The smaller paintings are kind of like looking out a window. And the larger paintings are what I refer to as abstract nature-scapes that you can walk right into. They feel like you could enter them. more recently this year, I've just been exploring more non-objective work where, you know, it's where, you know, it's more focused on color, shape, line, and it's also nature inspired. I have to say, nature continues to be my muse no matter what I'm working on, because, you know, I just find nature so healing, right? And especially this year, it, you know, where to begin for this year. I started to think about this entire year and really what it's meant for artists. And, you know, when you're an artist and you sell your first work of art, you know, you've become an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurs are taking really what I would consider the road less traveled. You know, you are not following the herd, you are doing your own thing. That's not choosing easy, that's choosing more of what you dream about. It's really choosing to go after your dream. And, you know, when the pandemic hit, I think every artist on the planet was having a heart attack because our work isn't viewed necessarily as essential. You know, suddenly everything was categorized in one of two ways, and that was really scary. But, you know, what the great thing was is that art was essential. Everybody stepped up to the plate and embraced art. There were many things that happened, you know, and I guess, you know, when I think about it, all of us artists, you know, didn't come this far to quit. You know, this was the year we had to kind of dig our heels in and say, okay, I'm going to figure this out.
Right.
And, you know, you started this project. We had Matthew Burrows start the Artist Support Pledge, which has been phenomenally successful.
Yes.
And for those who don't know what the Artist Support Pledge is, Matthew's idea was that every artist could offer, if they chose to, they could offer works of art that were on the smaller side for $200 without shipping. And once you sold $1,000 of your Artist Support Pledge works, then you bought another artist's work. And so it had this inherent, you know, support of one another. I had so many collectors buy my Artist Support Pledge work. And plus I have so many new artists' work that you know, I'm thrilled to have in my own collection.
Right.
So
I think that, you know, again, it was shifting and changing and helping our community at large because, like you said, for all the established artists, it was definitely a change on how to and where to. And for the emerging ones was paralyzing.
Yeah.
You know, where do I start? How do I go forward? And that was part of why we started this journey, right? How to inspire people at home and how to stay creative and stay, you know, active and start something new if you haven't done that before. And like you said, entrepreneurs, we wear all these hats that we just, you know, and you learn as you're going because you don't even know, and it's coming so fast. And I think this year, in a way, we all had to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough road, you know, because an artist is really juggling, gosh, so many hats. You are creating your product. You are then finding your market. You're finding a way to sell it. I mean, there's so many things going on. There's accounting, there's, you know, business emails, you know, the list is endless. It's hard to run an art business. It really is.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, once we got to the point where we're like, okay, we realized where we were and how our lives were going to change. At least for you, you have your studio in your home. So, you know, physically you could still work. So that was not an issue, I believe. But, you know, it could have been that you just didn't have the flow or, you know, you just didn't have the creative juices, but you didn't even have the time to even go there because you had to produce, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And initially during the pandemic, I actually had a studio outside my home, and then I brought it home, when the pandemic started. So I turned my basement into my art studio, which worked out really well. I think everybody had to adapt, but that's what artists do. I mean, obviously artists are creative. I think we're also really smart. And we have this independent spirit that figures things out. And this year that was really the theme, figuring it all out. And I think overall people pulled together. The Instagram community has been super supportive. I don't know. I really have enjoyed the online communities this year because we really got closer and cheered each other on and helped each other out. And I think that mattered this year more than ever.
I agree. I mean, I think that even this, connections that, that I'm having with all these new artists, I feel like I'm closer to my community of artists that I've ever been before, which is a weird thing to say, but it's so true. It's like, it's you and I having a conversation and, and throwing it out to the world. And people have received it so well. So, Kat, can you tell us a little bit about your business decisions on how you started to shift with the pandemic?
Sure, sure. Well, previous to the pandemic, I did not have an e-commerce website. All my galleries were starting to create their own e-commerce websites if they didn't already have one. And I did my own as well. So it was a shift, I think, of the whole art community to have an e-commerce website. So that was a big thing that I put into place. And then another artist friend of mine, Julie Schumer, and I, prior to the pandemic, we had all of these in-person art workshops scheduled, including one called Boldly Abstract, and we were going to have a business of art workshop in person as well. So when the pandemic came, of course, all those plans were out the door. And we had a decision to make. Could we bring these online in a format that would work? And so Julie and I worked all summer putting together our Boldly Abstract course, and we launched that this fall, and we're launching it again in January. And we started working on an art business course actually in 2019 because there's so much information that you have to include. I mean, it's a giant topic to try to tackle.
How did you actually put the two heads together and create this? How did that even, how is she in Atlanta too, I assume?
No, Julie is an artist in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Okay, so see, guys, everything is possible now.
Yeah, so
seriously.
we do Zoom calls. We've done Zoom calls every week for over a year. And, we have been planning this and putting this information together. So in January, we're launching both courses. And the business of art, gosh, I got to tell you, this is going to sound a little braggy, but, if I was starting my art business, this is the course I would have wanted.
Tell us why.
It has everything. It has, how to establish your business foundation. What should you be thinking about? How do you pick, should you be a sole proprietorship? Should you be a corporation? Should you be an LLC? How do you start? How do you pick a business name? There are some legal things in there that I know when I first started, I didn't understand. How do you communicate who you are as an artist? What is your brand? What does your online presence look like? How do you collect emails? How do you do a newsletter? We cover all of this. We cover, how do you do an electronic press kit, making catalogs of your work, making all your collateral materials like your business card, you know, all of your handouts about your work, brochures and information. And then, you know, what should be on your website? We really researched every topic. I mean, you know, we, of course, I mean, I've done this for 23 years. Julie's done it for 20. And we both had previous careers that kind of helped us putting this art course together. Julie was formerly an attorney. And sorry, I've got this little notification on my screen. Julie was formerly an attorney before she became an artist. And I was formerly a genetic counselor. And so, you know, I'm really big into mindset and visualization and setting goals and thinking about what you really want out of your life. Yeah. So we have, you know, we have sections on that in there, you know, how to start, you know, dreaming bigger. And then we give you the tools to follow through on those dreams. So we equip you with, you know, all the how-tos, and especially things like establishing multiple income streams. I think any artist needs multiple income streams so that you always have a check coming in the mail from somewhere or money coming in from somewhere, because this pandemic was probably one of the best examples. If you know, if you were only doing galleries or only doing art fairs or only doing art festivals or whatever, all of that fell apart.
And so, you were one of them. I mean, you really did a lot of fairs. Your husband and I, and your husband and I, no, you and your husband would, you know, take the van and go and set shop and really connect with people and physically talk to your collectors, and they would expect you every year, and that was taken away, you know, and so you really had to dig in and really think about all the things that you're talking about business wise, because, you know, all of a sudden that income is not a viable one. And so now you have to really think as a CEO, right? And go forward thinking as a CEO, because a lot of artists don't think as their art as a potential really good money-making machine, you know? And it's like I always said, you know, you have to, we as entrepreneurs, we have to have all these different hats that we have on, because we do have to create and have the time to create and be in our studios without interruption, because without work, you can't really sell. So how are you going to teach artists to find that balance, you think?
Well, we have, you know, we have this whole program, and we have really detailed information about, you know, talking about writing a business plan for your art business. How are you going to market it? We help you develop a plan for that. And then looking at, like, what are you doing all week? You know, how many hours should you be creating your product, whether you're a jeweler or a ceramic artist or a painter, and how much time should you be spending on your business and your marketing and that sort of thing. You know, it's a comprehensive course, and it really is kind of a to Z type.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh my God. This is what happens in a live.
That's great. That was Santa Claus calling.
Exactly. Oh
But,
my goodness.
Yeah. But anyway, the course, you know, the other thing to think about, like, as an artist, I think this is one of the best times in history to be an artist, because of the internet. You have billions of people at your fingertips. If you're online, you have the potential to reach so many people. Like, think about it. Like, if this was 20 years ago and there was a pandemic, nobody was online, you know, none of this was happening, how on earth would you survive? You wouldn't be able to connect with anybody. You know, you'd be picking up the phone, I guess, and calling people. But, you know, this is kind of a historic time, I think, for artists, because you can be online and reach the world. And so, you know, that's something we also talk about in the course. But So in January, just to kind of summarize the course, the business of art is going to start January 11th. And we're also starting Boldly Abstract about a week later, January 19th. And both will be available to sign up for on January 1st.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, and they're going to be on sale the first 5 days of January. And then if you want to buy both, they're going to be, cheaper if you buy both together. So if you want to do both, if you want to, really become more confident as an abstract artist, the Boldly Abstract course would be for you. We go over tons of information on color theory, painting structure, how to finish a painting. When do you know, when is a painting finished? How to fix a painting that isn't working, varnishing your work, presentation, working in a series. So both courses are comprehensive and, be kind of a nice start to the year. And even if you're an artist who's had an art business for a while, I think this business course would really up your game.
I think that from everything that you have said, you really have gone step by step by step on from 0 to 100, right? So where do you start and where do you end? And I think we always need that. We always, need the refreshment. We can't stop learning. The minute that you stop learning, you become mediocre. So, so you always have to open your hearts and minds and keep learning, because that will make you better. So even if you think that you are amazing, you can always be even more amazing, so just tell us where, if people would like to register, where would they register?
Yeah, so the website to get on the waiting list for the course is called artsmartworkshops.net.
Okay.
So, and there is a link in my profile and in Julie's profile if you want to get on the wait list. And we give you a free checklist when you get on our wait list that kind of, lists all the things that we're going to include in the course and that you really need to do if you're an artist and wanting to turn your art into a business. So, that's kind of a thing you could look at and decide,
for sure,
if the course would be good for you.
Well, I think that it will be good for anyone. Seriously. I mean, I think that you don't have to be a painter necessarily for the business part of it. I think that, from what you're saying, it's for any type of artist that wants to be better and make more money and really check off the list of all the things that, that you have learned that, that are important, because we don't think sometimes of those things, right? We don't think about contracts. We don't think about reading the small print. And obviously sometimes the small print is the most important part of everything, right? And so
absolutely. Yeah, and there's we also in our business course have what we call art clinics, and we have put real life problems that happened, and we tell everybody well, here's what happened and here's how we solved the problem. And I mean, some of these things that happened they're kind of crazy, and I would love to tell you one on here, but I can't. You'll have to sign up for the course. But I mean, there are things that can happen in your career. Maybe the contract wasn't right, or a shipment doesn't happen, or something weird goes on. And then you have to figure out what to do legally as an artist to protect yourself and, rework your relationship with whomever you're dealing with. So, there are things that can happen along the way in a career. And then we also include a bonus on copyright, which is a big topic, I think, for artists, and a bonus on how to write a business plan. We give a lot of templates in the course. We have templates for an artist statement, a bio, a CV, a certificate of authenticity, invoices, an electronic press kit. I mean, it's really packed with everything you need.
So are there videos that people were going to see between you and Julie talking about the topics? Is that how it's going to be?
Yeah, so the course consists of pre-recorded videos, and then we have a bunch of Zoom calls and a private Facebook group. And we're going to be answering everybody's questions. So the great thing is if you have, something you're struggling with in your business, we're going to be able to help you fix it and work on it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I have some pictures here that I would like to share with everyone, and
Sure.
because we can't show your studio because you have a lot going on in your studio right now.
Yeah, my studio is top secret right now. You can kind of see part of a commission behind me, but I don't want my collector to see the progress quite yet.
Okay.
And the other thing is I have a project I've been working on the entire pandemic that I can't talk about until February.
Is this just the cat project?
It is not just a cat project. It's with another artist that I can't say anything else than that, but I have that all over my studio. So if I showed you my studio right now, it would kind of spill the beans. So
no worries. We have pictures to talk about. So
yeah.
Can you start talking while we're looking at things?
Sure. So that looks like a thumbnail, or
yeah, those were details of some of your paintings in progress.
Yeah, so as you can see, I do a lot of different I guess techniques in my work. So I'm using both drawing media and acrylic, and I finish with oil glazing. But these detail shots are just showing different parts of a painting and different layers. Those are two finished paintings that are chrysalis paintings that are an abstraction of nature. So those are just like an
And you've done probably over 500 chrysalis paintings, would you say? Which is unbelievable. I mean, really, just the thought of it must make you so proud and happy.
Yeah, it's a series that just kind of took off. I started that series in 2015, and I think I'm on 545.
Oh my goodness.
So, I never imagined it would be so popular. So, yeah.
I love this picture because you always talk about how much nature informs your art, and here truly is bringing nature into the studio and matching colors, right?
Right. So this is showing, using nature to match exactly the colors found in nature. And I think that's the best way to do it, is just to grab, a flower or leaves and try to match the colors in your studio. And it'll teach you a lot about color theory as well when you do that.
Yeah. And then that's your studio when you can show it.
Yeah, that's my studio. So I'm sitting right where that painting is. And, so I have a painting behind me, which, so it's just the reverse. Yeah. So that's where I paint. That's my main painting wall. And I do have a movable wall that I paint on as well. Ooh. So that is a painting. That's another Chrysalis Series painting. I think that one's 5 by 6 feet. And I think it's close to done. I can't remember.
Ooh, that one is not good. It didn't translate well. This I love.
Yeah, that's a detail shot of another large painting it's a non-objective painting, but as an artist, when you do something new, you always think, oh, this is so new and different than what I usually do. But then if you put all the pictures together side by side, it's still you. It's still going to be your hand and your voice, and it's going to look like you. So this is a non-objective work, but some people say, well, that looks like your Chrysalis series, but it's the same person. So I suppose, like I said, when you line up your work and you think it's really different and everything, maybe it's not.
Yeah. There's another shot from your studio. Unfortunately, I can't move myself, so we can see the one on the right, but
that's okay. Yeah, so that just shows another non-objective work.
Do you stretch your own canvas?
My husband does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm very lucky. My husband is my business partner and studio assistant. And, if you can imagine, we have worked together for a long time, but now we've been trapped in the same building together during the pandemic and we haven't killed each other. So, I mean, it's been challenging all the way around.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure. But
Yeah.
you've made it work, you know?
Yes.
You've
Yeah.
definitely made this work.
And
Uh,
so, yeah, these are a couple of non-objective paintings on paper.
so this looks a little different. They look bolder to me. They look
Mhm.
maybe not as thought out, just activating the paper and kind of going with the flow.
Yeah,
And
you have a good eye, Sandra. These were actually demos in the Boldly Abstract class.
oh, there we go. Um, yeah, they look like quick exercises without really thinking and just applying. And I love that exercise because I think that sometimes a lot of incredible work comes from automatic activation of the paper canvas. And so,
Mhm.
by doing limited palette or, using two different brushes or, just adding a little medium here and there, you can really make a bold statement in seconds.
Yeah,
And that dance that happens, the in and out, right, with your own
yes.
painting is so satisfying because all of a sudden you see these marks and you're reacting to the marks without thinking. And so I highly recommend to do that exercise. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I think, for artists, when you go into your studio, of course, not every day feels like you're going to, you know, paint a masterpiece necessarily, but I think the key is to keep going because
Yes.
everybody has hard days and some days are more up and it just seems like everything comes so easy and then other days you're thinking how I can't remember how to paint. You're just
Yeah.
totally lost. And I think the key is just to start. You
Yeah,
just
for
you just
sure.
have to do
You have
something.
to just start. And this exercise is where you just start, where I'm sure you and Julie are teaching that is very important for any kind of artist because sometimes, established artists feel stuck. And that's a way to unstuck yourself, right? By showing
Yeah.
up, by starting and activating a painting, by reacting to what you're seeing without thinking. Not everything that you paint is going to sell. You can't go into that into your work with that mentality. That will not help you.
Yeah,
You need to
exactly.
relax and have fun and enjoy, and it will transform into a painting. I promise you. The minute you relax and you start to have fun, it will translate into everything you do. And
Yeah,
so,
and that's a great point. I think you do just have to continue on. And in the Boldly Abstract course, Julie and I each show you 6 ways to start a painting because a lot of times you just don't know, well, how am I going to start this one? And there are a million ways, right, to start, but sometimes you just need some guidance on that. And the way you start determines how it's going to end up as well. You certainly can change things up along the way, but a lot of times how you begin has already predetermined how you're going to end.
yeah, for sure. There's no
Yeah.
doubt. Do you usually start working on the floor or on the wall?
I start on the wall.
Okay.
Um, I do go back and forth. So these are just on my work table being varnished, the photo that you have up. And yeah, I have I work everywhere. You've seen me at a residency. I really
Yes.
I have work everywhere. I mean,
Oh,
there was an obstacle course to get into the chair that I'm sitting in right now, but yeah. So
yeah. So Kat and I did a master's art residency together, and I cannot believe it's going to be a year this February that we
mhm.
were in Montreat, and I can't wait to have that opportunity to be with you and everyone else that was there is something to say about having residencies and your community of artists right there, and having, to bounce off ideas and just work side by side, and really encourage one another and share every secret that you have. It's incredible what can happen in those workshops. It really is.
Yeah, I would recommend an art residency to anybody. They're a place where you can grow. There's so much cross-pollination with other artists. And, we talk about how to apply for a residency in our course,
Yeah.
in the Business of Art course. And they're super, they're just a super opportunity for you to grow. Yeah, so
Oh,
these
yep.
paintings are both non-objective paintings. Um, and but you see that the marks that I use are similar to what I use in my Chrysalis series. Again, it's the same person, painting the work. And even though when I'm painting my non-objective works, I feel like they're so different. And then, like you're seeing here, there's definitely a similarity to my Chrysalis series.
Yeah, for sure. So our good friend Casey Matthews, who's also part of my army of artists, said, this is not a question, just a comment. Now is a good time to commit to a workshop residency, or or start looking and make plans for the future. And I couldn't agree more. I think that Casey has been lucky. She's been able to drive to some of the incredible workshops, and I've seen our group of our friends getting together and painting together, and I feel so jealous because I can't wait for that to happen again. So I agree, Casey. We are very close on getting there. We're almost there, and this is your the business online workshop that you have, and I think that was the last slide that I have for you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think I didn't mention the pricing, so people are probably.
I'm going to turn on the comments right now for people to, if you have any questions, this will be the perfect time to ask them.
Right. So so the first 5 days of January, the Business of Art course will be $9.97, and the Boldly Abstract course will be $5.97. And after that point, they both increase in price. The Business of Art will be $14.97, and Boldly Abstract will be $6.97. Now, if you want to take both, you can take both for $14.97, which is really it's a great deal, and you'll have access to the course information for a year. So each course is designed to be completed in 6 weeks, but you'll be able to go back into it for an entire year. So it's really kind of a good blueprint for 2021.
And do you, for the 6 weeks period, you will be available on Zooms and on your private Facebook account to, do the Q&A and be very available to people. What happens after those 6 weeks? Will you still be available for the year?
Yeah, so we're available all the time in the Facebook groups. Yeah, so and the Zoom calls, I think there's the last one is actually a week after the course ends. Okay. So we kind of do a summary call at the end, and then we're always in the Facebook group answering questions. So
yeah,
you're never left alone.
yeah, because there's so many questions while you're going through it. Right now, you start and you don't really realize, how much work and dedication, and it's really up to you. At the end of the day, it's you putting in the hard work, because people ask all the time, like, how do you do it? How do you, how did you do this, tap into your creativity? Or how did you do this workshop? Or how did you, and the fact is that we're all working really hard, and you just have to show up every day and put your best foot forward. And nothing is free and nothing is easy. You just have to, make sure that you work hard and have a business plan in place, that you have your goals in place and your micro goals in place, because you can have, your ideas can be this big, But really they have to, you have to make sure that you start right here. And then you can slowly start to get here, because if you start here, it's just really hard to make sure that they transfer into a guarantee, or something that you feel that you did it. If you start really small and start thinking big, it's a very different way. And I highly recommend starting very small and thinking big, because you will feel accomplished. You will feel that you are, checking all the little goals to get to the bigger goal. Sometimes our ideas are so big and so large, and we want to do so much at the same time that you get overwhelmed and then you do nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I think, anytime there's change in your life, or maybe something's presented to you that scares you, you either can become paralyzed or you can embrace it.
Yeah.
And I think that initially in the pandemic, a lot of us became paralyzed. It was just kind of like, what? What is happening?
Yeah.
And a lot of artists, a lot of my friends said, I can't paint. I can't even do anything. I'm so, they had so much anxiety from the news. And, I have to say my heart goes out to everybody who is struggling with COVID. I have a really good friend, and I don't know if you're watching, Beba, but if you are, we love you. She has been in the hospital going on 7 weeks.
Oh my
And
goodness.
she's going to get out next week. And I mean, so the COVID thing is real. And I just want to tell everybody, if you know of somebody or you are somebody who's been sick, I mean, I really feel for you. It's been a hard year. And Sandra, I know your husband has had to deal with it as a physician.
But guess what? He got vaccinated today.
Oh, wow.
I'm so happy. I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for this moment for him to happen, and it's been really rough for him to have to take care of us, and shower in
Yeah.
the hospital, change in the garage, shower here, and it's just a whole thing. So for him to get his vaccine is it's a huge thing, and hopefully we will follow soon, and we will all get it, because it's, yeah, like you said, it's just been really hard. I know I have friends in the hospital right now too, and so I'm just sending my love and my prayers your way, and I hope that you have a you recoup soon, and so you can be with your loved ones, because it's also a time of it's isolating. It's very feeling very alone, and not only there but in your house too. And it's just you need to find things that keep your mind busy in good things, so you can have your mental health is the most important thing, and you need to keep yourself in check. And as long as you're okay, then you can give that love and support to your loved ones and your people around you.
Yeah, it's been a tough year all the way around, and I know a lot of people have been hit hard financially as well. And your project, feeding people, thinking about feeding people is just really, really admirable. And
Well, it was very hard to think that there's so many people in need of food. I mean, that's like, that's like we take it for granted sometimes. We
yeah,
have it, we take it for granted. And there's people lined up right now to get, a meal for their families. And it's just, and it's something that it's not stopping. And it's on the
right.
contrary, it's just increasing. And so to say that we have, as a community of artists, helped 196,000 meals, it's just, like you said, it really brings tears to my eyes, and know that we're making a difference, and that we're helping, and that it's bigger than ourselves, and when we work together we can accomplish anything that we want. Really, truly, it's just a blessing. It really has been unbelievable. So Kat, couldn't have ended the year better with having you join me again here. And I wish you the best of luck. And for everyone that is joining us today, I will make sure that under this interview, we will have Kat's information to where you can register for Julie's and Kat's business and abstract workshops. Make sure to watch, I'm sure, her social media. Where can we find you again, Kat?
On social media, we'll have some announcements. I think Julie and I will be talking on Instagram Live on the 1st, but we also have kind of a surprise on the 2nd.
Okay, we'll be looking for that. What about your website? Where can we find you on your website?
My website is artbycat.com, and cat is with a C.
Yes.
And you can find my work on there. And Sandra, thanks for all you've done, and really for being our Oprah. And I just want to ask you one question before we go.
Yes.
I heard a rumor that you might be starting a podcast next year.
Yes, I am working on that right now. And like I said, it's a lot of work. I've been super busy. I just launched my new catalog. Like you said, it's important to have that electronically, but also in print, and working on my e-commerce shop right now and developing the podcast. So, it's stay for the ride, because it's been quite the ride, and I can't wait for 2021, and keep working hard, keep giving a lot to our community at large, and just keep smiling and be the best that I can, I guess. So
that's awesome. Well, I'm super excited for you. I think you're a perfect podcast person. I can see you doing that easily. And I look forward to seeing what else you've got in store. And I just want to say, we have only 5 days left in this year.
Yeah.
And we're all ready to get rid of 2020. But this is a time, these last 5 days, you can use it to reflect on, what's important to you, and start writing down some things that you'd like to happen in your art business and your art life. And kind of start, this is the time really to start making plans for next year.
Yes. And like I said before, your goals are really important, and it's not your, New Year's resolutions. That's very different from your goals, right?
Yeah. I wanted to, I have some books. Can I show you?
Oh, yes, please.
I totally forgot. So this year, of course, we had all this time on our hands, and I reread some books that I think are really good, and then I read some new ones. So I just wanted to bring them up. So if you haven't read Austin Kleon's book, Keep Going, this couldn't be better for the pandemic, because he really talks about how to keep going in hard times as an artist. And of course, Stephen Pressfield.
Oh, yes.
The War of Art.
Oh,
it's a classic.
A classic.
And The Artist's Journey, by Stephen Pressfield. And I don't know if you're familiar with this one by Kent Nurburn, Dancing with the Gods.
I am not.
Oh, it's a great book.
What is that about?
Well, it's kind of reflections on life and art. So it's very timely.
Oh, okay.
And then I love James Clear's book on habits called Atomic Habits.
Okay.
And he really talks about, this is such a good book, because he talks about how you don't want to set goals. Setting goals is kind of the wrong thing to do. And I don't want to give the book away, but he really teaches you how to focus on habits and changing them for the better. And I have to say, this book helped me a lot in the pandemic, because I had to change how I was doing my art business, and I had to change some habits, and I had to develop,
new ones
and new ways of thinking and working. And so this book really helped me. And then a couple of artists who I really enjoy. I got Howard Sherman's book,
Oh my God,
which is
he's great.
yeah, exploited nudes meant for commodification. It's very Howard, and he is a great writer. And I would say I would hold him up as such a good example for artists to learn how to talk about your work. Howard
I
Sherman,
would love to live in his head for a
yeah,
minute.
he's a smart guy.
He
I mean,
is a smart guy.
yeah.
He really is.
And then I also really enjoyed Robert Zott's works on paper.
Oh yes.
Um,
Oh God.
and his booklet, and I know he was on your Army of Artists, and he's a
I
new,
also have his catalog, and
yeah.
he was the one who inspired me to get my.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And
To get
so
your catalog.
yeah, so this is my catalog of just some selective artwork that that also it's been a labor of love, important to have, and like you said, we just have to make sure that we have it, and we have it electronically, and you guys can go and purchase mine on my website, on my e-commerce, and highly recommend it. It turned out really, really cool. I'm very, very proud of it. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get my own copy, Sandra.
Yes, please
Yeah.
do.
So, I would say, thank you to the artists who have supported me this year. I have so many good friends who kind of lifted me up and followed me on Instagram and cheered me on, and I just so appreciate that. But I also want to thank like the collectors and the gallerists who kept things going or tried to keep something going for all of us as well. And if you're an artist, this is our time. Don't give up. Dig your heels in and make 2021 awesome, because I think it's going to be incredible and it's going to be different. When we all get vaccinated and we go back to our regular lives, it's not going to be our regular lives. It's going to feel a little bit different, because I think there's, we care much more about our relationships. The pandemic made us think about things so differently. And, I think that we're going to be going into 2021 with a whole different approach to our life. And
yeah, and a whole different appreciation of it.
yes.
Things that you maybe took for granted before, you maybe are gonna really think hard and appreciate and try and be better, right? Try to be better
Absolutely.
human beings. And I'm so excited for 2021. And like you said, there's still 5 more days in this year, and live every day to the fullest, and and you will be you will have no regrets. So Kat, thank you again for joining me today. I am so grateful for you, and like I said before, for my army of artists. I couldn't do this without you. You have all inspired me. You have taught me. I feel really incredibly full. My soul is just filled with gratitude and love for all of you. And let's keep helping Feeding America. And can't wait. And just wish you so much success for next year. I really do.
Thanks. Same to you.
Take
Bye.
care. Mwah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.